I made a video a couple months ago about the 9 lessons that I learned in my 20s. There's actually a whole lot more, so I wanted to make this video about 9 more lessons that I've been learning. Yeah, just a quick intro here. Hi, my name is Tyler. I am a part-time freelance software engineer, content creator, and game developer. On this channel, we talk about productivity, learning, and personal development in ways that are impactful yet simple, one step at a time. Lesson 1. Don't put things off until last minute. I can say that I'm definitely guilty of this. Very guilty of this sometimes. And at least in my case, it's because it doesn't quite feel urgent. And I guess in general, it's really easy to prioritize really urgent stuff, really in your face right now stuff instead of stuff that's like far in the future, because it's far in the future. You know, I'm sure future Tyler will take care of it and whatnot, but it's better off taking care of it now, or at least soon. Maybe it's just a discomfort. Maybe it's just I don't feel like doing it now. It sure as heck isn't necessarily time management though, that's for sure. And especially when it comes down to those things. And I know even the simplest things like homework, because I know I would have, let's say, homework due a week from when it was assigned, and then a lot of times I'd be like, oh crap, it's due in like 2 days, and I just have to talk to this person, and then this takes this amount of time, and I'm like, I'm screwed. And even with personal things, whether it's projects that I'm doing, I do find that I'm putting them off a lot of times because it takes a lot of time, and I don't know why it takes me so long to start things. And well, I know why, because I'm ADHD stuff, but I find myself waiting to actually feel like I'm ready to do stuff sometimes still. And once I actually do it, it's actually not so hard when I figure out, okay, what actions do I need to take? How do I want to do this? How do I fit this in my life? And so at least for me, I found that chunking things up and doing it little by little actually ends up being the best thing ever, because then I'm not expecting myself to, because a lot of times the thing you want to get done is, while it may not be difficult to do, you kind of focus on the whole forest, at least I do, and then you're like, okay, I could always just put this off, it's a lot of stuff, I don't want to do it now. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, by doing it little chunks and little chunks, I'm not putting it off. I'm still doing it, but not thinking about the whole forest, and I'm making progress slowly. It's better than having to cram like the night before for an exam, for instance, because God, that sucks. Lesson 2, and some of these are going to be kind of stupid, obvious, but I feel like I'm still reminding myself this so often, and especially this one being leaving a bit earlier than I expect, or rather, give yourself more buffer time for things, because you never know what will happen. And I'm still guilty of this, of being not on time for things, because I think it'll take this much time to get there, like 40 minutes, and then it takes a whole freaking hour to get there. Mostly because of traffic, but sometimes I just don't estimate things correctly. I know my time awareness isn't great either. And so at least in my principle, especially along with keeping a timer for when I need to leave, I always give myself at least like 15 minutes of extra time. It's still cutting it close, but at least it gives me some buffer room. Realistically, I should be giving myself 30 minutes, because there's always something blocking me to get out, whether it's finding stuff, whether it's where did my wallet go, where did my earbuds go, where did my shoes go, where did my phone go? And it's also just a respect of my time for myself, because then I won't be panicking, at least. And also I'll be on time for the thing and not offend the person by being late, because punctuality does make a difference. Lesson 3 is working smarter and harder. I know there's the whole phrase of work smarter, not harder, and there's also a camp of like, oh, you need to work really hard. Both are kind of important, because I don't want to play too smart to the point that I just get lazy, and then, because I feel like working smarter ends up meaning you kind of just don't want to, if you go to the complete extreme, I feel like it's hard to work hard, but if you always work hard, it's hard to think smart, because you're always doing stuff. Working smart, at least what I'm trying to say is that for me, working smarter means knowing that I'm putting effort in the direction that matters to me and I feel like actually is the direction I want, but also working hard to stand out and also to get the job done and to get stuff done, really. And like working smarter, especially with my content stuff, having AI help me organize all of this stuff and helping me structure my ideas, while at the same time I'm still making a lot of stuff and putting time in recording and practicing. So I think working smarter and harder is, I think, equally important, because you can work really hard in a direction but essentially get nowhere, but work smart but not work hard, so you don't really stand out, and you need that work to actually get somewhere, is what I'm trying to say. Lesson 4 is don't post everything. Success happens quietly. And at least, especially with social media, it's become more of a thing where we show the progress, show it all the time. And I think it has its place, because especially in a marketing sense, you want your work to be seen, to get eyes, and to be able to actually get it out there in people's hands, right? But at the same time, it's a lot of pressure, and I think for some people it does work. But for me specifically, I don't think it's best that I make everything public, because for me it's a lot of pressure, and in the event that I change my direction, especially in the early stages when I don't have it all figured out and I don't have specifically what I want solidified, it just doesn't really make sense. And also, there are just times where I realize it's a lot easier when I'm not pressured by making content, to actually work on the project and actually enjoy it, because then I'm not just making the game just to make content to sell it, but rather I'm making the game because I want to make a good game, and then afterwards, later in the stages, I can actually make content for it maybe. And plus, it's a lot of work to always be posting and always be showing stuff, and I feel like it defers away from focus from the actual work needing to be done. And also, I think it makes for a better story, is what I think. And also, I don't really want to perform being productive on my work. I'd rather just work on the stuff. It helps me focus on it more. Obviously, I still will post some stuff because I do need the eyes on it, and I need it. It's just one way of getting people to see it. Just within moderation, I think, is probably the best for me. Lesson 5 is you will always be an imposter, and this one definitely still applies, because even as I make these videos, I don't quite feel like I can make them sometimes. Like I try to make it as best I can to feel like it's my own personal experience, and I am still having an opinion, but also, no one has to agree with me or whatever. But even with like work or job related stuff, or game development, or the freelance software engineering stuff, there's this element of, am I qualified for this? And it still feels like that. But I also know that feeling won't really go away, so maybe I should just embrace it. And what I guess I'm trying to say is, I want to look at things more like I have the skills to do it. It doesn't matter if I don't feel confident necessarily about my ability, as long as I'm able to do the thing and the person is happy with what I made. I think that is enough. And maybe that imposter syndrome also is an act of, oh, I care about this a lot, maybe. And to also not make myself feel that, because I'm going to feel it. I mean, it's normal, I think, at the end of the day. Lesson 6 is you're not behind. You're just on a different timeline. I can say for sure that I don't feel necessarily behind or ahead in life. If anything, my timeline is very, very different than a lot of people, averagely speaking. And I do feel like I still take on the identity of, oh, I'm a late bloomer to some extent. My dad always visualizes, oh, I'm just a bee going, and people sort of go, but I go, like, kind of just all over the place, not really getting my destination, but I eventually get there, is I think what we're trying to say. But to compare to other people is like comparing apples to oranges. Everyone's lives are different. Everyone's goals are different. To say that I should be married or have lots of money right now, while some people are already having decent jobs and whatever. Yes, obviously I should still have enough money to survive, but I don't have to necessarily say that I have to be like them, because their standards, their circumstances, their wants, their desires are all different. And to compare that and to feel like I'm behind is kind of, there is no point to that. Lesson 7 is nothing is a waste of time. I do think it's really easy to say that you feel like you wasted time on something, whether it's a person that you wanted to get closer with, whether it's a project that you dropped, a job that you put a lot of time in. It's easy to think that when things go south, it can feel like it was a waste of time. There's a few things I can say about that. One being that those experiences also taught you what you don't like, because that person that you couldn't become friends with, maybe it was just not the timing, or maybe it wasn't just, they just weren't compatible with you in the slightest bit. I mean, it could be a lot of things, but all of it is still a learning experience. Granted, if you don't die or you know, go to jail or something. But also, even the things that I may have not completely continued through, like my gaming channel, or all of the projects that I did for game dev, or any of the work I've done in the past, I do feel like all of that stuff still gave me something to learn at the end of the day. Because even with the video editing stuff, I've done video editing for other people as a result, because I knew how to video edit it. Sure, all that, those gaming videos that I made didn't go anywhere. It taught me how to edit, and I can do that for all sorts of things, even for this channel, for other people. It's still a valuable skill, as well as being able to plan a big project as well, which applies to a lot of jobs too. But it's to say that, I guess for me, that's what I'm trying to say is, if I look at everything, every experience as a waste of time that didn't have any degree of success or degree of return of investment, let's just say, I don't think I would try as many things, because then, because then it'd be like, what's the point of doing this if I'm not getting anything out of it? Most things, I guess to say, aren't really a waste of time, is what I want to say. Lesson 8 is social skills can be learned. Now, I am an awkward person. I would say naturally, to some extent, maybe I got along with people. I wouldn't say my social skills were the most polished thing ever. I do think part of it could be personality, part of it could be circumstance of just luck that my school was nice. But I will say that I had the awareness of a rocket sometimes. It just wasn't great. But as I've spent more time and experienced more things in life, when it comes to like dating and making friends and going out on my own and doing work on whatever project, I found myself learning a lot of stuff, especially from books, especially from my dad, from friends. I will definitely say that I am much more polished social skills wise. I still screw up though. I do still have my moments where I am just awkward. But I think overall I have improved a lot the last 5+ years. And it goes to say that social skills can be learned, I think. If anything, I think the people that have to learn the skills are the better ones at that skill of socializing, because you are aware of the specific rules rather than just going off intuition. If I could tell past me now, he would not believe me. And finally, lesson 9. You learn by living life, not by studying it. Now, for the longest time, I don't think I really realized how much just living my life taught me about myself, and new rules I should set for myself, as well as just the experiences have taught me a lot. Like, I remember being so analytical about, or overthinking about dating stuff, when I think I would have gotten more experience just by going on dates and not overthinking it too much. Sure, yes, there are some aspects like the social skill stuff where I learned how to have conversations on apps, because a lot of people are really bad at that. And being okay with just asking people out, because you realize you don't really know the person, not just by the profile, you have to actually meet them. But from that experience, as well as making games and making friends and doing all sorts of stuff, And this comes back to the whole thing of waste of time stuff, because even though something necessarily doesn't work out, you learn a lot from living your life and doing stuff even if you don't know what the heck you're doing or if you don't know how it'll turn out. If anything, you learn a lot more than just by reading up on stuff and what you should do, what you shouldn't do, because also not everyone's advice will apply to you necessarily as well. So you have to sort of define what makes the most sense to you at the end of the day. No amount of reading, no amount of watching videos on YouTube, especially this one, will really teach you anything. If anything, it's at best to be that push to be like, go try this, go do the thing. But I can't tell you how to do a thing because I don't know what your life is. I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know who you are, for Christ's sake. I can only suggest what I've figured out from my own experience, because that's how I learned, how I understand my world, my point of view, and what works for me. And it's on you to figure out whether or not that works for you or not. So yeah, this is all. So what I'm trying to say though is, go live life. Go screw up, make mistakes. Don't get arrested, please, though. But yeah, those are my 9 lessons, and I am still learning a lot of those. Even the last video, I'm still trying to remind myself that these things are important, and especially the one where I'm leaving on time and leaving early. I'm still making mistakes there. I'm still screwing up. But I suppose, like I said in the last lesson, you're just sort of learning. You're living life. You're gonna make mistakes. I mean, it's gonna happen. But I hope that any of these lessons, even if it's just one, helped. But yeah, if you're interested about that video I made, the previous 9 lessons, I would take a look at this video. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.